Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization. We're up here on the Utah-Idaho border on the Idaho side, west of Bear Lake, along Beaver Creek, looking into some Bigfoot sightings. The area is rich with Bigfoot sightings, a great history of them, and we're in an area where a guy had some vocalizations and possible Bigfoot activity by two creatures in June of 2003. This area is about 6,000 feet elevation with the creek, the Beaver Creek. It's full of fish and there's a lot of freshwater springs around here. The place is well known for bears, so I have no doubt that there's enough habitat, enough food for a large creature like a Bigfoot. There's also moose, elk, and deer. I'm going to go ahead and go over the Bigfoot sighting report that the guy had. It was actual vocalizations, and he may have seen the silhouette of the creatures from his fire that was going that night. And here's his report. I was playing with my dogs about 200 feet from the campfire right before sunset. I heard a weird sound behind me, pretty far up the mountain. I thought I was just imagining it and kept playing with the dogs. After 10 minutes, I heard it again, along with the second call, further up the canyon. I thought that I had imagined it. Another 5 or 10 minutes went by, and I knew the third time that I had heard it. It was very loud, sharp call, very much like what a primate sounds like, from what I have seen on TV. I was instantly on edge, as I have camped, hiked in this area many times over 10 to 12 years, without any previous incidents of these sounds. I went back to my campfire to start dinner when I heard it again. This time my dogs took notice, and they were very uneasy as well. After 2 or 3 more instances, with my 3 dogs cowering at my feet, I decided to respond. Immediately there was a call and reply that sounded agitated. They proceeded to call back and forth, progressively getting closer to my location. It was getting dark. I got in the back of my SUV with my dogs to try to relax and think. And then I heard sounds very close to the trees not far from me. The dogs went from terrified to attack mode, barking and jumping back and forth to the side windows, and I realized the sunroof was open. I panicked, jumped over the seat, and started the vehicle and jetted out of there. All this happened in about an hour or so. My dogs had seen many animals in the hills before, and nothing ever seemed to frighten them. There was a follow-up investigation by my friend Todd Strong. He did the original BFRO investigation. He talked to the witness on the phone, and Todd has camped in the area many times himself. He found him believable, experienced in the outdoors, and familiar with his dogs. He still seemed a little scared, and after interviewing, he can add the following to the account. The witness went camping with his 3 dogs, something he often does, and had been playing with the dogs in an undeveloped campsite for about 2 hours. He heard a strange vocalization up the mountain he had never heard before. Then a second, similar vocalization respond. Not knowing what they were and realizing that they were long ways away, he tried to mimic the vocalization himself. Both animals responded and started moving down the mountain in his direction, calling and vocalizing to each other. The closer the vocalizations got, the more scared his dogs became, until he took the dogs into the vehicle with him. Shortly after locking themselves in the vehicle, the dogs became totally petrified and began growling, barking, and snapping at the windows, leading him to believe the 2 animals were at least inside the campground and possibly right outside his vehicle. He decided to leave at that point. The witness explained his 3 dogs have never been scared before and have even ran in between the legs of moose and elk while in the mountains. The best way the witness could describe the sound was like a chimpanzee sound he had heard on nature shows, only deeper and not as quite high-pitched. It was the first time he had ever heard an animal make that kind of noise. I am aware of other reports in this general area of loud vocalizations and believe that detail. The animals approaching the campground after witness vocalized and the reaction of the dogs to be typical behavior. He told a professor at the Utah State about the noise, and the professor showed him the BFRO website and suggested he send in a report. The professor said he and a friend saw something the year before in the same area walking on 2 legs through a clearing that they thought may have been a Bigfoot. This is Kelly Shaw reporting for the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization at the location, as close as I could get to the location from the description of this Bigfoot experience. And I Bigfoot in this area a lot because there are so many Bigfoot sightings in this general area. And I had a vocalization experience in 2011 that was pretty eerie. 2 nights in a row when we were camping right here on Beaver Creek. We were actually about 2 or 3 miles from this location where the gentleman had his experience. But what we heard is it sounded like a woman screaming in distress, although I know a woman cannot make the sound that I was hearing. That's, that it was much deeper, and the scream lasted so much longer than what I think even an opera singer could do. You know what I mean? This thing had some lungs and belted it out for, I don't know, 12, 15 seconds, maybe longer. The first night we heard 2 vocalizations like that, about 1 in the morning, and then nothing the rest of the night. And then the next night it happened again. Pretty creepy. We never did end up identifying the creature that did it. However, after the first night, the next morning we did find a footprint inside the creek, and it was under about 4 inches of water, but the footprint was just crystal clear. I'll put that at the end of this video. It's a quite interesting footprint that we found in the mud, and it was pretty crisp around the toes and between the toes and the foot and everything. So I know it couldn't have been too old, but it was old enough that whatever mud or debris had been disturbed had settled down because the water was crystal clear and we could see, the footprint bright as day. I'll add that to this. But anyway, this is a great Bigfoot sighting location. We love Bigfoot in here. We've heard the vocalizations ourselves that this guy is describing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.